I like very much
Radio.
You're an American institution.
American Freedom Radio.
I'm your host, Sonia, Truther Girl Sonia, and I'm here with Truther Girl Karen, and we're going to be talking now to YouTuber and chemtrail activist Lahara, all the way from Hawaii.
Aloha.
Aloha, Lahara. How you doing?
Wow, to get you on the phone it's an honor. I'm a little nervous, but I'm really excited.
Oh, well, don't be nervous. It's just
You're
like
so
talking on the
sweet.
phone, and we all know that's something that women are very experienced
We're good at.
have a lot of expertise with, so it should be no problem.
Well, I just want to let you know, I'm looking out the window right now, and there are just these huge slabs of these fabricated man-made cirrus clouds. They're literally covering the sky. I only see a patch of blue right now. It's just the saddest thing. I don't know where you want me to start.
Well, what's it like in Hawaii? Do you guys have covered skies nearly all the time now? Because recently this movie came out, What in the World Are They Spraying? And they spent some time filming in Hawaii and showing that it's being very heavily chemtrailed, although they said that they don't spray right over the island, but outside of it, let it drift in.
No, honey. They don't know what they're talking about.
Okay,
I don't mean to put those guys down, but I actually met Michael Murphy when he came here, and I really actually tried to fill him in on some of the information on how they exactly feed the skies here. And he'd only been here for maybe 4 days and figured out his idea of how they spray. And I was born and raised here. And I tried to sit down with him and say, no, you keep looking for this sky cover, or you keep looking for the blatant chemtrails. But what's going on here in Hawaii is they have got the final frontier. It is the most advanced application and fabrication of chemclouds I've ever seen. You'll have like 3 or 4 different levels in the sky with about 3 or 4 different types of chemcloud signatures or styles in the sky. People have no idea how heavily covered Hawaii is because they're doing this cloaking with invisible chemtrail disperser aircraft. They're seeding the skies with several types of chemclouds. And because of that, nobody seems to recognize all of these different unusual clouds that have never been here. So that's what's really going on, is that no, it's not just up overhead. It's right over our water supply. It's vicious. They're creating these chemclouds that are embedded over every valley, all throughout Hawaii, wherever there is the rain, wherever we get our rainwater. And there's these thick slabs that look like cotton candy that are smashing the tops of the round-topped cumulus clouds. And they sit there, and they're at about 1,000 feet. And then you'll look up, and maybe at about 3,000 feet, they'll have maybe an altocumulus type of a man-made chemcloud. Then you look up maybe a few more feet, you'll have some cirrus clouds. This is why nobody sees the chemclouds, because they're so high-tech, they're so advanced, they're probably 100 years ahead out here. In fact, we were stolen by the military, 1959. We're not even a legal state. The place was possessed for some of the most powerful military testing. But anyway, I could go on, but that movie, what are they spraying? Mm-hmm. They're very, very, very far off as far as Hawaii goes. I give them kudos for the amazing work they've done just bringing, awareness to the geoengineering agenda. But I'm telling you, honey, Hawaii is some of the most severely suffocated, covered in chemclouds that I've ever seen anywhere. And
well, Lahara,
I could keep going.
I don't think they were saying that there are no chemclouds over Hawaii. They were saying that there are, and it's very heavily chemtrailed, full of chemclouds all the time. But at one point, the people on the organic farm said that the airplanes were not leaving the trails directly over the islands. They were spraying just outside and then letting it drift in. But there was plenty of it, and blanketing the skies over Hawaii. But whether it's true or not, if you say it's not true, I believe you too. That's just what one person
I know. I don't
said.
mean to argue. I just had such a hard time. Go ahead, honey. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I just wanted to ask you about that because that's what one person said, but that doesn't mean that that's what everybody else is seeing there. But you mentioned the several layers of clouds. I mean, there are several different kinds of clouds that occur on different layers. The cirrus clouds usually are at about 6,000 feet. No, not the cirrus, the cumulus clouds. The cumulonimbus, the big fluffy round clouds, those are the lowest ones at about 6,000 feet. And then you have, alto, cumulus, strato, and...
Well, they have all like L4, L2. They're also put all these little L's and numbers in front of like cumuluses so that it takes a cumulus cloud out to be, 10 different types. So I know what you're saying, but all I can say is trust me. I was born and raised here. I have an eye that is like Hawkeye. I can't sit here and have anybody believe me. It's hard to make anybody believe
I believe you. Lahara, I'm not saying that I don't believe you. I was going to say, actually, so there are different layers, but what we're seeing this in Montreal too, is that you're not meant to have 3 or 4 different layers of clouds occurring all at the same time.
No, absolutely not.
Not all of this. You might have 2, but at NASA they'll even tell you, cirrus clouds or they're usually, foretell, good weather, and then you have other ones that foretell, rain or whatever, that you can tell something about the weather by the clouds, and you don't have layer upon layer upon layer of cloud on an ongoing basis. What we have in Montreal, or we've been having, was they would have establish one layer of a type of cumulus cloud or something else, a muck basically, and once that would rain and it would start to clear up, we could see that behind that was another thick blanket of muck. So there would be like 2 layers of this. And in your videos, I've seen one type that we have, the one you say it's like a weird flat kind of cotton candy, and it's shiny. It doesn't look natural at all.
That's one of about 10 different chem clouds. I don't mean to be rude about the movie that just came out. I think it's phenomenal to bring awareness. But I really have to be a little anal on my end because people think they know how they're spraying out here. And him saying that they let it, the wind carry it in. Excuse me, they do blatant chemtrail aircraft leaving a chemtrail right there, obvious for everyone to see. And personally, the reason that I think that the military is doing these blatant chemtrails right above us everywhere in the islands is so that we don't see all of the chem clouds that are being laid in the sky by these cloaked, highly advanced chemtrail dispersers that are invisible to the human eye. I have literally sat down on my porch and have watched 2 or different types of clouds appear like at 1,000 feet. I could reach out and touch it. They start to morph out and take these shapes. And there's no aircraft in sight. It seems so far-fetched to imagine that they have invisible cloaked chemtrails.
Oh, no, I have footage of that. I have a video up on YouTube that's a cloaked chemtrail plane.
I'm so proud of all your stuff. I just mean in Hawaii, just really quickly, I met this woman who does hair samples traveling the world. I actually wish I'd had her here. She said she found more metal particles and hair samples here in Hawaii than she found anywhere. And I truly believe some of the most severe chem cloud testing goes on out here because people don't see all the chem clouds. They are right above my head right now, and they're probably about 1,000 feet. And then you've got it about 6,000 feet, again, those huge slabs. I don't mean to go on and on, but honey, nobody knows what is going on here.
Well, you have a lot of footage of that. You have a lot of footage of that on your YouTube site. So have you been seeing... I just want to ask you, have you been seeing them laying the trail? I know the planes are cloaked, but have you seen those, the regular chemtrail leaving it?
Absolutely. That's what I just tried to say.
Because in Montreal, they seem to have developed some kind of smart muck that it would be like a dome, and in the beginning, we'd see these big chemtrails going from one end of the horizon to the other, very thick, very ropey and luminous, like those bright aluminum or barium or whatever they are, like a big arc right across the sky. We don't see that anymore. That doesn't mean we don't have muck. We do. Later, they seem to develop a short burst technique where they would leave just a little trail, and they'd leave a lot of these, and they would puff up into these fairly real-looking clouds, but we saw them originate from airplane exhaust. And then later on, they'd have this muck that just stay over the city, and at night, it would move, it would open up right out to the sides of the city, and you could see the stars, and then in the morning, by 10 o'clock, it would just close back in like a dome over the city. So we thought this was very strange because we'd never seen anything like that before. And you said you grew up in Hawaii, so you know what the skies are like. Like, I know what they're like.
Absolutely. I used to wake up. Let me tell you, I used to wake up and I would see the skies go on for miles. You never had, like, of course, people like to argue with me.
By the way, how long ago was this? Do you see? When was the last time you remember like clear skies in Hawaii? When did you start noticing this?
I'm going to go back to maybe about 30 years ago. Even then, they were doing some. This is the thing that I'm doing is I've got a new video I'm going to put up, and I actually got a book that's called Maui on My Mind. It's from 1985. I opened up this book just to say, and lo and behold, some of the most severe spraying of those long strips that are just a long, straight, like cirrus-type fabrications covering the sky. I had then, again, looked over Iao, where we get half of our water supply, and they had those big, long, thick, gray cotton candy laid smooshing on top of the rain clouds. Now, they've been doing this since 85, and I'm telling you, I know that they've been doing it longer than that. I think since they first got an aircraft in the sky, they started to test geoengineering. I want to say one thing that really gets me irate is how they're teaching the kids in our schools.
Yeah.
They're trying to I want to read something really quick here. I kind of put up on my It says chemtrail sunscreen taught in U.S. schools. They're trying to say that it's basically helping the planet, protecting the planet. It says, this is what a father found. A is for apple, B is for boy, C is for chemtrails. At least this is what one American father found while paging through his child's science book. SMT was astonished to find 7th graders being taught about chemtrails and geoengineering their home planet. The chemtrails one last little phrase. The chemtrails section is found in the Centerpoint Learning Science under Solutions for Global Warming. Now, we all know, I want to finish that what actually happens is that the artificial clouds, they actually hold in the ultraviolet rays. They actually hold in the heat. So this whole, idea that they're going to somehow cool the planet is a complete hoax. People don't know this. So many people are waking up about chem clouds that the government knows that they better come up quick with a good answer to make people think that they're good for you, because they can't hide them anymore. I mean, go ahead.
Well, we saw that.
Where was
we
that?
Saw that in Montreal. Karen, remember that this summer? Well, remember this summer during the heat wave, we had a different kind of chemtrails laid with blanketing, and it seemed to trap the heat. They could call it small.
Absolutely.
But we used to have heat waves with blue skies when I was a kid. We had that. Now you have a heat wave, and it's strange. There's never a blue sky. Well,
never.
Not this year, and it was like 40-something degrees in Montreal, which is abnormal. It was like 42 degrees.
Right.
Could have been India.
And they're trying to say it helps the planet, and all that it's going to do is, kill crops, create worldwide famine. Like I've heard you say that if there's anything they do, they destroy the environment. They destroy the atmosphere.
Definitely.
They destroy our food. They destroy our clean air and our clean water. It's so scary to me, though, how asleep people are. They are literally brain dead, so possessed by the mass media and its staged lies. People have no idea that they are living.
You talk to people about it?
I try to reach out and say, listen here, this is what's going on. And people do the eye roll. Oh, you're paranoid. I'm like, hey, if you're not freaked out, you're not woke, you're not aware of what's going on.